Hi everyone! Welcome back to our channel. If you're an overseas nurse and you're dreaming of working here in Australia, this video is for you. I'll walk you through the step-by-step process on how to convert your license overseas and be able to work as a registered nurse here in Australia. From English exam, AHPRA application, NCLEX, OSCE, and final registration, I'll try to explain it simply so you know what to expect. The first step is meeting the English requirement. You can either take IELTS, PTE, OET, or TOEFL. For IELTS, you need to have a minimum of 7 across all bandwidth. For OET, you need to have grade B in all sections. And in my case, I took PTE. In PTE academic, you must meet a minimum overall score of 66. Make sure your results are valid within 2 years when you apply. Next, you'll need to apply for AHPRA, which stands for Australian Health Practitioner Regulation Agency. This is where you submit your nursing qualification, transcripts, license, proof of identity, and English test result. You'll use the AGOS 40 form, and the application fee is around 640 Australian dollars. Processing can take 3 to 6 months. If AHPRA finds you eligible, you'll enter the outcomes-based assessment pathway, and this has 2 parts. First is NCLEX and second is OSCE. So NCLEX is the theory exam and OSCE is the skills exam. Once you're eligible, then you have to prepare for these exams. So NCLEX is a computer-based theory exam. It is very similar to the US nursing exam. You can take it in Australia or in any testing centers worldwide. OSCE, on the other hand, is a practical exam that you need to take either in Adelaide or in Melbourne, Australia. Compared to NCLEX, where you can take it in any part of the world, in order for you to convert your license overseas to Australia, the final step is for you to pass OSCE. And OSCE can only be taken in Adelaide or Melbourne. So you have to fly to Australia to sit and take the OSCE exam. In OSCE, you will be tested on your clinical skills on simulated hospital scenarios. If you're interested on how to pass NCLEX and OSCE, just comment down below and I'll make a separate video on how I passed NCLEX and OSCE. The OSCE costs about 4,000 Australian dollars, and you have to consider your budget for travel and accommodation on top of that. Once you pass both exams, that's the only time you'll be eligible to register for AHPRA. You'll then pay an annual fee of 190 Australian dollars, and your name will be added to Nursing and Midwifery Board of Australia register. Congratulations! At this point, you are now officially a registered nurse in Australia. If you're not a citizen or a permanent resident, the next step for you is to apply for a visa. Many nurses apply through skilled migration visas, or they get sponsored by an employer, either by a hospital or an aged care facility. Once you have the work rights, then you can start looking for jobs. Salaries for registered nurses in Australia usually ranges from 70,000 to 90,000 Australian dollars per year. Personally, oh my god, girl, you're so blessed. I just lodged my tax for the year 2024 to 2025, and my annual salary as a registered nurse in Australia came up to 114,000 Australian dollars. Becoming a nurse in Australia as an overseas nurse really takes time, effort, and money. But everything is so worth it. The process usually takes about 12 to 18 months and roughly costs around 7 to 10,000 Australian dollars. If you prepare well and stay committed, you'll soon be living and working in Australia as a registered nurse. So just to recap, first, you have to take an English exam, apply for AHPRA, and once they find you eligible, you can then take the OBA pathway. With OBA, you need to take 2 exams, NCLEX and OSCE. NCLEX is the theory-based, OSCE is the skills-based. I'll make a separate video on how to pass NCLEX and how to pass OSCE. So after passing those exams for OBA, then you can finally register as a nurse in Australia. Once you become a registered nurse, you then have to have a working right. If you're not an Australian citizen or a permanent resident, you must have a visa before you apply for jobs. It's either you apply for a skilled migration visa or find a sponsor. After getting a job, congratulations! At this point, you are now officially a registered nurse in Australia. Personally, it's definitely not easy to become a registered nurse in Australia. There's a lot of difficulties, challenges. In my case, I took OSCE twice. I've been through a lot of heartaches, a lot of crying moments, but it's definitely achievable and totally worth it. I'm an overseas nurse from the Philippines and I took OBA pathway, and here I am now working as a nurse for 2 years in Australia, and I just earned 114,000 Australian dollars in the past financial year. I am a living proof that it's definitely worth it to pursue your dream to become a registered nurse in Australia. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and share this video to your fellow nurses who might find it useful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on our next video.